actually talked about 90s nostalgia earlier. Let's talk about 1890s nostalgia.
Nice transition.
And with that, I want to reintroduce Phoebe.
Hi.
And Melissa.
Hello.
Hey, and you fine individuals are representatives of
The Watch City Steampunk Festival being held on May 13th in Waltham, Massachusetts. It is a completely free outdoor festival on Waltham Common with
And the surrounding areas.
With musical entertainment and speakers and panelists and vendors. So much shopping
And performances.
And so on Waltham Common and down local streets and in the Waltham Public Library and so and
sounds like you have full coverage there in that particular region of the town.
Yes.
So this is going to be expansive.
It's we're trying to take over downtown Waltham with the steampunks. And
I meant just a street gang. You just take it over.
There'll be street gangs, but they'll be dressed with top hats and monocles and gears glued all over them.
That's awesome. Instead of like Harleys, they're riding penny farthings down the road.
Yes.
Like who wants some?
What's all this then?
Yeah, and the pirates and the barbershop quartets will get into it, and
oh man,
it's a lot of fun. But also
there'll be mustache wax everywhere.
But also a lot of just the local residents come because we're a free festival we have kids activities and just lots to do. And if you don't even know anything about steampunk, you can just come and enjoy yourself for the day. And a lot of the locals will enjoy that. Okay,
well that's that thing. I'm glad you said that. Because I'm a little bummed Adam isn't here. He's more of the steampunk inclined member of the cast here. And okay, I'm somebody who's fairly new to steampunk. I'm aware because I've seen that one episode of Castle where he wore the pit helmet and stuff.
Which is one of the relatively better public depictions of steampunk by people who have no idea, but not
fabulous.
It was still okay. Well, what did they get wrong then? Help us. We who are not in the know.
I wish we had our own private club that we could hang out in all day, being steampunk. Awesome. Wouldn't that be nice?
You guys don't do that? Oh man.
No. Sorry.
They come to the goth club, but then I glare at them in my neon colors, which is just me getting revenge on the goths who glare at me for my neon colors. See, I'm cyber goth. So to explain this in better terms, I'm thank you. I was about to say I'm sharks. And then they're jets. And then I show up to Steampunk World's Fair, for example, in full neon dreads, and everyone's just like, what's all this then?
Well,
and their monocles pop.
Wouldn't they technically be Nautili? Or, well, the Nautiluses. And then you, Sharks and Jets, would be...
Okay, so what am I to a Nautilus then, Pat? Continue this, please. Prithee, continue.
Well, I'm trying to think.
Or if the Nautilus is the submarine, then it's the giant squid.
The giant squid, yes.
Yes.
I am fond of tentacles.
Nemo's ship versus the squid.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the best day of my life. We just talked about slime, and I've just been compared to something with tentacles.
Well, there's a Tintin comic here. I really want to broach, but I can't quite work space into it. All right. I feel like Herb's got some rum somewhere in the booth, so we're cool.
I've never made it to Watch City because it just always ended up that I was out of town that weekend. I think this year is the first year that I can actually probably swing by, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Also,
all my jokes about not liking steampunk, it just gives me more impetus to show up in a giant tutu and neon colors.
We don't care. We appreciate time travelers from any time period.
Yes.
Wait, it's not like the
I'm joking.
Like the
Make it along.
Okay, I was gonna say it's not like the Ren fairs where you have folks coming in classic Star Trek gear, Captain.
I've never done that, actually. That's ridiculous, and I've never done that.
Really? We have pictures.
That's horrible, and why would you ever think that? Why would I ever do that?
I'm sorry.
I
we know
went
you
to King
hate
Richard's
Star
with a bunch of steampunks one year, and people were looking at it going, oh, look, steampunks! Which I'm sure the medieval folks were like, why are they paying attention to the steampunks?
Nerds convocate. It's a thing that they do.
And they have clockwork and gears attached to them. Yeah. And that steampunk fits right in. I imagine alchemy is big. Unless they're all...
I appreciate steampunks because they like absinthe.
They're a little bit more sort of early Industrial Revolution style science stuff than alchemy specifically.
Yeah, a little mad science.
Yes, mad science is a big thing.
Yeah, and we also throw some actual industrial history in. One of our kind of partners in this is the Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation, which is this really cool little museum in Waltham that you don't know is there because it's kind of way at the back of an old mill factory. And
it's dedicated to Industrial Revolution era technology. That's, sort of the setting for a lot of the science fiction stuff.
That stuff is awesome, though. I don't understand why it has to be so niche. Because honestly, I knew the name Penny Farthing. That's because I'm a weirdo. But no, honestly, it's like you watch old movies, and these were the explorers back before they had all the equipment and sonar and weirdness that we've come to just accept as a factor over time. So the concept of those being brought to future bounds of technology, that's cool as hell. If I could have like a robot, but it's made of like old school like clockwork gear and
one of the fun things about it is it's kind of anti-atavism a little bit. It's like it takes the cool stuff and all the potential and all the, excitement of like we are on the cusp of, revolutionizing how we do things in the world, but look at how rooted in colonialism it is. Look at how rooted it is in toxic traditions and misogyny and racism and all that stuff. Let's pull that away from all of the, the baggage and reimagine it in, embracing those progressive ideas that were actually driving it forward that, they managed to muck up.
And hoop skirts.
Because they're fun.
Yeah. There's also a strong element of the maker movement and DIY, making your own props, making your outfit. There's not necessarily one right way. It's not like I'm going to recreate a Darth Vader costume and it has to look like that. I can make whatever I want.
A good nerd example would be the Batman one-off Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
That's steampunk.
Yeah.
Well, there was also Beware the Creeper, which back
yes.
the same.
Yeah.
Anyone does know these are the more prestige format DC books that came out a few years ago. They don't really do that anymore.
No, they don't.
Yeah. But Gotham by Gaslight plays Batman in
steampunk setting.
And so the only information I heard that I heard of before coming here, sort of in exchange, is that Waltham is the steampunk capital, right?
It likes to call itself the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution, which might be a slightly overgrand title, but
people know Lowell, Massachusetts. It had all these mills that were founded by Francis Cabot Lowell, for whom it's all named, but his first factory was in Waltham. And he moved up to Lowell later because he was getting better water pressure out of the Merrimack River than he was out of the Charles and Waltham.
Okay. Good thing he didn't go to Lawrence.
Waltham
he's up there. He got mugged by 3 guys named Fitzy.
And the name Watch City comes from, historically, Waltham had a watch factory. And Waltham watches were, in the day, very prestigious, well-regarded timepieces.
Okay, now I knew about the watch factory. I didn't know Waltham watches was a thing.
Waltham watches were from Waltham. And
okay.
And of course, like everything else, the old watch factory is now condos.
Well, so's our old goth club. So
yeah.
Like, man, the old condo I grew up in is now a condo. Do you believe this? All right.
So an example of one of the events that is going to be happening there is a series of theatrical shows that I write and direct, which are along the steampunk theme. It's called the Mrs. Hawking series, and I like to sell it as what if Sherlock Holmes were more like a Lady Batman?
Interesting.
Again, taking a lot of the cool stuff about, the Victorian period, the gas lamp adventures and the mystery theme and the aesthetic of it with the hoop skirts and the top hats and all that stuff, but kind of taking a minute to address the fact that, it was very classist, it was very racist, it was very colonial, and sort of getting a chance to sort of retell, those exciting stories, thinking about that stuff a little bit more. Like we have this, female protagonist who is, on the surface, this, fairly ordinary Victorian widow who, at night puts on a mask and runs along rooftops and stabs baddies with a knife to help, women who have nowhere else to turn. And we've been doing it as a serial because how else can you do, a mystery series, an adventure series like Sherlock Holmes or Batman other than serially. And we've been doing one new show a year, and we're putting on part 2 and part 3 this time. Requires no knowledge of anything in the originals, and it's going to be at the festival because festivals are very open to, slightly more experimental things like serialized theater, which you don't see very often. And
this is also always at Aresia.
Yeah, actually, good memory. We tend to debut at Aresia, and then we go up later.
My Rocky Horror Cast is the cast that does the shadow casting at Aresia.
Oh, that's cool. We've had several of your actors, like Joy Thaler and Sarah Dion.
Oh, not bad. My street gang rolls our penny farthings upwards.
Bring up.
Ching ching.
bring it, please. Yeah.
Now, this takes place at the Waltham Square, right?
Yeah,
So-
Waltham Common.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
The
The festival is centered around the Common, but also the surrounding area has some events too. My play is like 1 block away from the Common on at 274 Moody Street, and we go up at 2 p.m. with Part 2 and 6 p.m. with Part 3.
And if you're walking down Moody Street, look in the window displays because the owner of the Mediterranean Grill, the grill Mediterranean food,
Yes.
is allowing us to use an empty storefront, and so in the front of the windows we've set up a mannequin wearing an airship and little mad scientist display, and the props for Phoebe's play are sitting in the front window. So if you're
Kind of as an installation of what it looks like a little bit.
And if you walk past it and it's empty, you know you're missing the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so catch it before we move all our set pieces back to actually rehearse with them.
Nice.
But if anybody's interested in learning more, again, we're called the Mrs. Hawking series, and we're at www.mrshawking.com.
All right. And if we're
mrshawking.com.
if we're interested in finding more about the festival itself,
is at watchcityfestival.com, and also look for Watch City Steampunk Festival on Facebook. We're doing a lot of updates showing off the individual entertainers and the vendors that are coming up, and pictures of things that we're up to, and the crazy women talked about the crazy plot line.
don't give too much away now.
No, it just involves.
Well, you know how at the Renaissance Fair they have a bunch of actors who sort of like embody the people that you would expect in that stylized version of the Renaissance.
Yeah.
We have our own steampunk figures who act out their own plot line.
Oh, nice. So you got like the wacky neighbor. It's going to be the
The corrupt mayor, the mad
corrupt
science.
mayor, the
grifter, the puppet master.
the mad airship
captain,
yeah. Don't worry, you don't need to follow any of the. It's not like it makes sense anyway. It just does. We got invaded by aliens at the
It's
end
for
of last year's
flavor.
festival, so.
I've heard things.
And a giant squid fought a
Giant
robot.
squid. Yeah, we had a robot versus Kraken fight last time, so.
Why didn't you say that at the start? I'm there.
Are you familiar with Big Nazo out of Rhode Island?
I'm actually not. No.
Okay, they do creature, giant foam creature costumes and perform as a band, wearing giant alien from outer space creature costumes. And we worked with them, and they did. They built a robot costume and a Kraken costume, and came and did a kind of like kaiju battle with these two people in costumes whacking at each other, while the rest of them in their alien costumes are playing rock and roll in the sky. and we were standing there going like, I didn't know this was going to happen. None of us knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
We got invaded by aliens. It was great.
Dude, that is really all you had to say. Okay, so once again, this takes place on December 24th, 1896.
Yes,
If you're a
except
time traveler.
yes, that's where you enter the time travel portal. Where you will be deposited is May 13th, 2017. This is the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend, so you can get your mom a very unique gift at our fine vendors. And
Like
again,
goggles.
it's completely free. We will be
Free
announcing
99, kids.
free on-site. We are going to be having a Friday night party, which will be a ticketed event. That will be announced very, very soon.
Come in your best farthingale.
Yes.
And find out what a farthingale is. All right,
Ready, go?
Melissa, Phoebe, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you guys want to find out any more information, go to www.watchcityfestival.com. And if you want to find out more about the play,
www.mrshawking.com.
all right, awesome. Mrs. spelled out or Mrs. MRS?
MRS.
There you go. All right, thank you very much. All right, and we